In the headlines, police arrest bandits informant in Katsina as troops rescue 17 hostages in Zamfara. Supreme Court dismisses APC's case against Enugu State Governor. Ginger farmers in Kaduna count losses after widespread crop infections. Also in the news, flooding death toll soars to 11,300 in Libya's coastal city of Dana. Hello there, good evening and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Katsina, where the state police has arrested, or the police in Katsina State has arrested a 35-year-old man who is a bandit informant and gun runner in possession of 104 rounds of live ammunition. Now, one of the suspected masterminds behind the killing of the Dusima area commander, late ACP Aminu Umar, has also been arrested alongside many other suspects. Abdullahi Yamadi has more on the story.
Police Public Relations Officer ASP Sadiq Abubakar said the command succeeded in arresting one Ibrahim Abdullahi, a suspected arms smuggler and bandits informant and resident of Dumburawa village of Batari local government. Based on credible intelligence, the suspected gun runner was trailed and arrested at Rahamawa quarters in Katsina Metropolis. Upon search, 404 rounds of live ammunition were recovered in his custody.
In the course of interrogation, the suspect confessed to the commission of the offense and further stated that he received the said exhibit alongside one Yakuba alias Dankwandago of Kankara local government area from one Salisu at Wukari local government area of Taraba State, now at large. Our efforts are on with a view to arresting the fleeing suspect as investigation is ongoing.
The police said one Said Yaro, alias Sabunjini, who has been on the command's wanted list for series of offenses such as kidnapping, cattle rustling, and other heinous crimes, has also been arrested. The suspect was arrested in connection with the kidnapping of one Hussein Nabara of Kagara village in Dusima local government.
It was revealed that the suspect was under the command of one Abubakar Jankare, male, a suspected notorious bandit leader, and also conspired with one Usman Modi, Auta Nokia, and one Sule Malam Aibo, among others, now at large. Sometime in the year 2022, and ambushed the late area commander Dusama, ACP Aminu Umar.
The command is also investigating one Samin Usman in connection with cases of kidnapping, as well as a 65-year-old Haruna Wanzam for sexually molesting a 4-year-old girl. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Still talking security, now troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji have foiled 2 kidnap attempts and rescued 17 persons from kidnappers' den and recovered large numbers of Russell cattle in the ongoing operation across Zamfara State. Now, the Operation Information Officer, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, said in a statement that the joint troops of Operation Hadarin Daji, while acting on a distress call, thwarted a kidnap attempt, rescuing 2 victims and the commercial vehicle carrying food items in Shinkafi local government area of the state. He said in a similar vein, ground troops deployed at Fort Operating Base Dangiga, while on a routine patrol, intercepted and rescued 3 kidnapped victims. The statement says preliminary investigation reveals that the victims had been in captivity for 8 weeks and were able to escape from Gando Forest due to the recent offensive operation and constant fighting patrol along the fringes of the forest. Now, the transmission company of Nigeria in Birnin Kebbi State has been gutted by fire. The cause of the fire is not yet known, And some residents of the mechanic village in Birnin Kebbi metropolis, where the TCN office is located, say they heard a loud bang followed by a thick plume of smoke and fire from a section of the electric installation area. Now, the development comes hours after fire outbreak on the Kainji Jeba 330 kilovolt line triggered the collapse of the national grid, resulting in a nationwide power outage on Thursday. Now, the National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Benin has affirmed the election of Neda Imasheun as senator representing Edo South in the National Assembly. The candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Matthew Idori Yekewe, and his party had challenged the victory of the Labour Party senator in the February 25th election this year. Now, the petitioners had approached the tribunal seeking to nullify Imasheun's victory on 4 grounds. Now, the grounds specifically included alleged non-qualification, overvoting, corrupt practices, non-compliance with the Electoral Act by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the nomination of the first respondent by the Labour Party. Now, the 3-member panel led by Justice Yusuf Muhammad, however, dismissed the petition for lacking merit and being incompetent. Justice Muhammad, who read the over 3 hours judgment, said the petitioners failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Imasheun was not qualified to participate in the February 25th election. Now, the tribunal held that the allegations of non-qualification, party nomination, or the sponsorship for an election were pre-election matters that could only be entertained by a federal high court. To Kano State now, where the embattled chairman of the Kano Civil Society Forum, Ibrahim Weya, is pushing back on an attempt by some members of the forum to remove him from office, calling the attempt divisionary tactics seeking to divide the movement in Kano. However, a faction of the group argued that the chairman alongside executive members of the forum have overstayed their welcome in office and there is a need for a fresh election.
Now, what I did for the forum, the history of the forum cannot be written without my name. Yes. Weya name is going to be sounded like the sound of the rain when there is so much cloud. We held a Congress meeting, a Zoom Congress meeting, online meeting. We publicly, during the meeting, myself and my secretary, Fita Hassan, told all the members that Weya and Fita are not interested in contesting elections.
What you need to understand is that we like Ibrahim Weya. He's a good friend. I'm older than him, both in civil society and by age. In civil society and by age. But what we have been telling him is that let's democratize KCSF. That's a simple word. But he is not ready to listen. And let me say it. If he's not ready to listen in a soft way, this is the beginning.
Now, insecurity and rising inflation continues to threaten Nigeria's food security, worsening living conditions of millions of Nigerians. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, 25 million Nigerians are at high risk of food insecurity. However, the Ministry of Agriculture says it is working to mitigate the situation across this country with stakeholders from the public and private sector. Chamung Dabeng has more on the story.
Due to both unavailability and high cost of commodities, many Nigerians cannot afford to eat 3 square meals a day. Many opt to eat just to survive, as Nigeria has about 133 million citizens living in multidimensional poverty. According to a 2019 report released by the National Bureau of Statistics, 82.9 million Nigerians live under $1 a day, amid speculations that the figure may increase by 40 million. Speaking on this issue, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, says the federal government will be keying into 2 focal points bordering on quality and quantity.
They are looking at diet quality, and the other one is looking at the content itself. Because it's one thing you have proteinous food, but what is the quality of that proteinous food? So these two components is what they are trying to look at. And of course, it fits into the various indicators of food security. So there are so many other indicators, but they are picking this to be sure that when you see any food, for example, you go to buy fish, Nigerians should be confident that it is fish they are buying.
For the government to properly solve Nigeria's food problems, accurate data collection is heavily needed, as it allows the government to have proper insights into Nigeria's diverse food systems.
The policymaker, especially our government, who have prioritized food and nutrition security, it's a key priority of this government. This is a ready information trove that they can go to see where the opportunities are to address those areas where Nigeria has been assessed to be doing poorly compared to other African countries and also compared to countries across the globe.
The issue is about planning, about knowing what is happening in your own backyard. It's not about the global dashboard. We have to bring it home. Do we know what is happening in our own food system? Do we know where the systemic area is for us to actually touch so that we can have a transformative change? So for that, we need data, we need information, and that information needs to be shared across agencies and everybody that is participating in the food system, and that's a lot of people.
The number of Nigerians suffering from food shortage increased by 69.7% between 2019 and 2022, while the prevalence of undernourishment grew by 15.7% between 2020 to 2022. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now to some breaking news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the nomination of Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso to serve as the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a term of 5 years at the first instance, pending his confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. Now, the directive is in conformity with Section 8, subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act of 2007, which vests the president, the authority to appoint the governor and 4 deputy governors to the Central Bank of Nigeria, subject to a confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. Now, furthermore, the president has also approved the nomination of 4 new deputy governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria to also serve a 5-year term, subject to confirmation by the Senate. And they include Mrs. Nana Usoro, Mr. Mohammed Sani Abdullahi Dettijo, Philip Ekeazo, and Dr. Bala M. Bello. In line with the President's Renewed Hope agenda, the President expects the above-listed nominees to be successfully implement critical reforms at the Central Bank of Nigeria, which will enhance the confidence of Nigerians and international partners in the restructuring of Nigeria's economy towards sustainable growth and prosperity for all. This information was signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilali. That's the breaking news at this hour. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the nomination of Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso as the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, pending a confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. Right, moving on to some of the day's other news now. Normalcy has returned to Nasarawa community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, where a cleric allegedly slaughtered a dog, causing unrest across the community. Now, youths in the area reportedly attacked the cleric's house and his school after he insisted that his actions were lawful. Here's the latest.
Tension was high in the area after the said cleric slaughtered a dog, which residents said it was against the teaching of Islam. According to some residents, the man fled the community after the incident. The community accused the said cleric of slaughtering the dog for naming ceremony, but a member of the sect, Ismail Abubakar Jana, denied this, saying eating dog meat is not prohibited by the Quran.
Abin da ya faru kwana 4 kenan da ya wuce, ni na yi tafiya bana wurin. Na
4 days ago, when I returned from a journey, our student informed me that a dog was slaughtered. I thought it was a joke, but after our lesson session, I entered the house. The meat of the dog was on fire. We are Muslims and we believe in Quran, but our mode of worship differs from other people. We are Nigerians and the Constitution gives right and freedom to believe in any religion of their choice. While confirming the incident, some of the residents said the dog meat was used to prepare soup, which was shared among the students of the school. We were sitting when they came with 2 dogs, and we saw when they slaughtered them. But then we didn't know their intentions until later after they had prepared it and called their members to eat the meat with bread. They ate the meat for 2 days. Although I didn't see the thing with my eyes, but was told that they eat the meat, and even several social media platforms promoting it. An Islamic cleric, Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, said eating of dog meat is un-Islamic and provocative.
There are 2 rulings, but the one that is common here, which is in Risala, is that eating dog is haram because of a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, naha an akli kulli dhinabin min as-siba' or min as-sub'. The Prophet ﷺ has forbidden the eating of all animals, prey animals that hunt, those that have canine teeth, which the dog has. In another madhab of Malik, at the same time, those who are in Iraq, it is makruh. Makruh yani is disliked.
Gumi urged the authorities not to play with such issues, considering the background of the scholar.
And secondly, Nigeria has experienced them when they started being militant and attacking the Ummah. And I think the authorities should not play with this difference. It's a very significant difference that should not be encouraged.
The Supreme Council for Sharia Kaduna chapter in statement said the mass actions were intended to challenge the Muslim Ummah and to go against the teaching of the Quran. The police public relations officer in the state, ASP Mansour Hassan, while confirming the incident, said the command arrested suspect in connection with breakdown of law and order at Nasarawa community after the incident.
We have received that members of Nasarawa community invaded the house of one Malam Abu Bakr Sani, who claimed that he slaughtered a dog during the naming ceremony of his child. And then the people of that community feel that it's a new thing to them, which they started taking action and taking laws into their hands. But we thank God we have arrested one of the suspects, and then we'll charge him to court upon completion of the investigation.
The police warned the residents from taking law into their hands.
Well, you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we'll tell you about how Zulum's buses in Borno State is changing the face of public transportation in Borno. More on this after the break. Welcome back. A quick reminder of our top stories at this hour. The police has arrested a bandit informant and gun runner in Katsina as troops rescue 17 hostages in Zamfara. Nigeria Supreme Court dismisses APC's case against Enugu State Governor. Now, ginger farmers in 4 local government areas of Kaduna State are counting their losses following an outbreak of a disease that has ravaged their crops across the areas. The disease outbreak broke out in early June this year as farming communities across Kachia, Jaba, Kagarko and Jama local government areas of the state are reeling from the effect on their ginger farms, losing a huge quantity of their crops. Now, Trust TV's Ado Musa visited some of the affected communities to file in this report.
At the beginning, we began to see the leaf drying and becoming yellowish. We didn't understand the problem. We applied different pesticides to kill the disease, but we couldn't succeed. It was a strange experience because this is the first time we are experiencing the problem in our areas. For decades, no disease has ever destroyed our crops at this magnitude. I lost over 30 million naira to the disease. We can't explain why the disease affected the crop. We have never seen it in our life. The crops just turned yellowish. At some point, we thought the crop was demanding fertilizer, which we applied but didn't succeed. Ginger farming is what we depend on. It is our main source of income. I can't quantify the degree of damage this disease has inflicted on us, but millions of naira were lost. We just woke up and saw the disease destroying our crops. We are really in trouble because we depend on it for years. Now that it has dried, we don't know what to do. The farmers, however, say unless government intervenes, they will be out of the business. We have suffered a lot. Many have lost millions of naira, and some have even died because of frustration. We are calling on state and federal government to assist us because some of us collected loans to invest in the farming. This is our main source of income and has been lost. We want government at all levels to help us with all kinds of assistance to be able to cushion the effect of the disease. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the Nigerian ginger export has hit 10 billion naira in the second quarter, indicating 17% improvement compared to 4.6 billion naira in same period of 2022. However, the farmers say the country may not be able to achieve its export target in the next quarter because of the outbreak of the fungal disease in some of the ginger producing areas. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Very difficult development for the farmers there. Now, 30 out of these 70 buses launched by Governor Zulum in Borno State to ease transportation problems for workers and other citizens across the state capital have already been put to use in the state. Now, in this special report, Adamu Gulde says a cross-section of workers have already experienced happiness with this development. His report.
It could be recalled that the federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu implemented the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, thus ruling out palliatives to cushion the effect of citizens. Here in Borno State, Governor Babagana Zulum has introduced various palliative measures to cushion the hardship of people. Among them is the procurement of 70 buses to Borno Express to convey civil servants to their workplaces at a subsidized rate. Speaking to Trust TV, a civil servant, Blessing Jibrin, said since the removal of fuel subsidy, workers have been suffering due to the high cost of transportation, but with the procured buses, the hardship of the people will surely be reduced. We are really happy with this intervention from the state government. We people from Polo to post office, we are paying only 50 naira. Imagine. Also speaking, Ali Umar, a bus driver, and a passenger, Malam Abubakar, both thanked the governor for providing the buses as a subsidized amount of 50 naira only. I am happy with our state government for this palliative support. We pray Almighty Allah reward our leaders at all levels. This government of Borno State really deserves commendation from us. For now, there is no any challenges, only good expectation from us to our leaders. Chairman Nigeria Labour Congress Yusuf Inuwa said they had met with the governor and enumerated some areas that need intervention in order to cushion the hardship of workers in the state. This, the NLC said, led to the procurement of the buses that are currently rendering services to the people. The buses start working across the city of Maiduguri, but up till now, still coming with another measures to ease the hardship. But all we know is that our government doing his best. On his part, General Manager Borno Express Company Grema Zanna Kyari said Borno Express Transport Company was established in 1973, but the administration of Governor Zulum rebranded its present standard and procured vehicles to boost their operations. In the early morning, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., our buses start their working. We urge the people to understand our aims and provide us first-hand information to achieve our success. The General Manager Borno Express assured that he will not disappoint civil servants in conveying them to places of work and their respective communities, adding that his doors remain open for suggestions toward effective service delivery. From Maiduguri, Adamu Gulde, Trust TV News.
On the international scene, the Red Crescent in Libya says the death toll in the coastal city of Daraa has soared to 11,300 as search efforts continue following a massive flooding that was fed by the breaching of 2 dams in heavy rains. Now, Mari El Dresse, the International Federation of Red Cross and the Red Crescent Society's Libya Secretary General, told the Associated Press news agency that another 10,100 people are reportedly missing in the Mediterranean city. Health authorities previously put the death toll in Daraa at 5,500. The storm also killed about 170 people elsewhere across the country. The mayor of Daraa, Abdel Monim Al-Gaiti, says the tally could climb as high as 20,000 given the number of neighborhoods that have been washed out by the floods. Tariq Al-Karaz, an Interior Minister spokesperson, put the number of deaths in Daraa far lower than 3,000. The storm also killed about 170 people in other parts of eastern Libya, including the towns of Beida, Susa, Razaz, and Marj, according to the Health Ministry official. That's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. We'll be back a bit later at 9 o'clock for the news hour. Until then, follow us across our social media platform to catch up on some more content and visit trusttv.com for more news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.